Thank you very much. And we have now we can start with our Q&A. And before we do that, as I said, please, you're very welcome to use the chat box to write if you have a question to ask, or if you want, you can also type the question and I can read it for you. That's absolutely up to you. It's very nice when you can just jump in and ask your question. But meanwhile, while we're waiting for the questions to come, I would like to share my own experience, because as Christine just mentioned, I tried it during the summer, because I went to visit her in this amazing place, which is in between, amid the hopscotch, you say, right?
Hops, yeah.
It's
the area where beer grows.
Sorry, yeah, hops. So green. It's beautiful, of course. So it's already you feel good already because of the environment. And I tried two of the technique. I would like to share my experience with the kintsugi, since we just talked about that. My personal reaction to that was that, first of all, when I teared apart all the paper, I felt exactly as the paper that I had in front. So it was really, I felt myself kind of falling apart. And then, of course, we started talking, and you all know that I talk a lot. So, of course, also during the workshop, I never stopped talking while I was crying, because the reaction was really strong. And it was like waves. And at the very end, I felt, I don't know, empowered by this overall experience. And the balance, and my balance was back. I have to work on it, I know, but that was really an incredible experience. And that is also the reason why, one of the reasons why I wanted to share with you all this how we all know, we all talk about the power of the healing power of art, but it's interesting to see when you can actually put it in put it in place, use it as a technique to also to heal yourself and help others. Claudio Diatto is an artist who's today with us. He has a hi Claudio. He has in his studio a quote by Carol Rama, right, Claudio, that says, "I paint to heal myself." Carol Rama was a very important Italian artist, and she was saying that, referring to herself, that she said that she was painting to heal herself. But of course, this is something that can apply to everyone, but also, as I said, it can actually be a tool to help other people. Regarding creativity, I always say that I am not creative, because I don't think I am, but now I will start to think that that in a way, deep down I am. Okay, thanks a lot to all of you. Yes, okay, Tanat, hi. Are you here with us? Hello, hi, thanks a lot for joining. Sorry, I'm so enthusiastic because Tanat was with us at the very beginning in Dalian when we started all this. So she's part of our team. And I'm very happy.
I feel so
so
lucky to see from the beginning and then to now. And also knowing what happened in Shanghai. So it's very exciting. So thank you, Rafaela, and thank you, Christine, for such an amazing sharing and presentation. And I hope that I can come to Germany sometime and go through the workshop. Actually, with my family would be incredible too. But I wanted to going even just back to your technique of the collage that you developed, and you mentioned you developed in university. When I was looking at, I think it was the second slide, maybe, I was even kind of confused about what was you know, your painting and what was, you know, that you had kind of put from another piece of, I don't know, from magazine or whatever as the art. So are you also drawing? And maybe I would just love to hear more about that.
It was the triptych, right? The second slide, the
yes,
perspective, crazy bigger one. So how I understood your question is, of course, I also draw, for example, the on the goddess, I would say, the sun and the moon and the stars, the radiance you can see, they are with maybe watercolor, could be also a mix of watercolor and color pencils. Tanat, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Sorry, I was on mute, so I'm sort of.
And yeah, around the house roofs, you can see some charcoal pen. And yeah, maybe at the cat whiskers, how to say, they could be also drawing. So yeah, I stick and I paint over it and I stick again, and so it's a permanent process of drawing maybe in the very end, because sometimes the watercolor would wash it a little bit. Yeah. Was this a question?
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing because it just all blends together. Yeah.
But in fact, if I may, the reaction usually in front of Christina's works is always that you don't really know what comes from the collage, what comes from the drawing, because of this layering. And sorry, I don't want to speak on your behalf, but you always say that that's your secret, right? Your magic trick, because in the end it's hard to tell what is what, and it's an overall blend.
Exactly, you call it a magic trick, but it's so easy to do. And in my workshops, if people do it themselves, say, oh, this is so easy, I never thought it would be. But it's not a big thing to do.
Okay, for you it's not a big thing, but anyway.
Exactly.
Okay, thank you, Tanat. And now next, Bellamy. Now I will find Bellamy. If you can please unmute yourself.
So thank you for sharing. Hi, thanks for sharing. Sorry, I don't know if I was supposed to direct message or just put in the group chat. So anyway, I put the question there. I'm fascinated to hear about the grief counseling process, and I'd love to hear a little bit more about it, and maybe a little bit more. I mean, I think I'd love to spend hours talking about it, because to me, it sounds like such an incredible process. And I'd love to know, is it something you do one-on-one? Is it something that you just do once off? And if someone feels, oh my God, I've still got so much more to grieve, what then? Is that something that you learned from that lady that you did the workshop with? I'm just really, I suppose, maybe in a little bit more detail, and the rest I'll probably have to keep following you on Instagram and maybe attend an online session or something.
So I can do it. I did it for now face to face or with one person, but this also, of course, group counseling possible. Then the creative work could be a little bit different. It doesn't need to be painting. There are all kind of playful methods to visualize the issue, if I may say so. The grieving group makes sense if they have this kind of a similar grieving issue. So I would not mix a job loss with a child loss or something like this. It's maybe possible, I cannot imagine. But since I am new in this field now and I don't have the experience like Anemone has, she does it already since 15 years. So I start with face-to-face, and then I can completely focus on this one person. And I do some notes for myself, and the notes also I give to the client. And then it's very quick, clear if there are more things around, more issues. Mostly there a bunch, or like I would say like a fruit bowl of issues all of a sudden. And then we pick one by one, just the ones the person wants to talk about or to, let's say, play with in a transformation way. And then we can do it in several sessions. It's not something we can figure out in 1 hour. So the grieving, yeah.
Wow. So is it like you don't only do the, I'm not going to pronounce it, the kitsune, you do several different techniques over time?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So after a first talk, I can also already figure out which kind of method would maybe work very well. And then I go back to the client. And what I wanted to say something, I forgot now. Keep on asking. I don't remember. Yeah.
And I don't know if I shall read this or so we have another, this is a comment that says, thank you for sharing your experience for healing griefs. In Japan, kintsugi is said like repairing your past to hear your soul of today.
Oh,
So
nice. So beautiful.
It's a very nice way of telling it, of putting it. Hope to be, and she says, hope to visit your workshop one day with my friends who are suffering middle-age crisis. Thank you. I think we are a bunch of those.
It's not easy.
No, it is definitely not. And Claudio, Tanat told me that you were showing the note that I mentioned before by Carol Rama. I can't hear you. No? Claudio, devi toglierti dal muto perché sennò non ti sento, non ti sentiamo.
Ok.
Ok.
No, dicevo, speak Italian, please.
Ah, scusa.
Qual è la domanda?
Sorry. No. Dicevo, I switched to Italian 1 second. Dicevo che Tanaz mi ha detto che hai mostrato l'immagine del...
Questa, sì.
Sì. Okay, so before I was mentioning this quote that Claudio has framed. Claudio is an Italian artist that Christine also met while we were in Italy a long time ago, and it says no, keep it so I can read it for everyone, please. Tienilo un attimo su. It says, I paint first of all to heal myself, and in addition if in addition I have the chance of finding a person well attuned to what I do, I could also happen to heal that person too, which is exactly what, grazie Claudia, thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, which is exactly what we are talking about here. Okay, anyone else? Meanwhile, just one more thing that I would like to mention as per our previous experience, because as I said, I've been knowing Christine for quite a long time, and she also used, you didn't mention Christine during this talk, but I would like just to pin it, that you also used art as a cultural exchange, or to facilitate the communication between different cultures and different cultures, different countries before. So if you can just in a nutshell share that previous also experience. So it really seems that you are, I would say, leveraging this power of art in a very broad way, broad sense.
Yeah, during my life in China, I traveled so much, and I thought about the footprint I leave in countries. And then I also was confronted in China a lot with the border of language and the border of communication. And I thought, but I have a language which many other people understand, and it's the language of art. And I was developing a project it was like a experiment. If it's possible if I communicate with another artist just through art. And the first artist Raffaella was so great to choose for me was Tanki Michelotti. You might know from the ARTCaffè. And this was, I still get goosebumps when I think of him and the way we were working together, because he didn't speak German. My Italian doesn't exist. And so we couldn't communicate otherwise. And it was such a nice, gentle meeting and crossing over of our paintings. So we were both working on a painting each, so 2 paintings at the same time. At a certain point, we switched the paintings and finished the one from the other artist. And this is a super intimate thing to do, because most of the artists are like single wolves in the desert. They don't want there anybody else, and they especially don't want any other person to touch their artwork. And so this was this was our form of meeting in a painting. And this was very nice. You can see on YouTube still the video.
Yeah, I
And
think
yeah,
we can then share also the link to that video in case.
And I did the same thing in China with a Chinese artist. And so I couldn't talk at all with him. And this was for me, since I was sometimes challenged a lot in China with several things, a very healing experience, because through him, and after, how to say, kind of a mental meltdown during the experience, I had like a catharsis in a Greek drama. I learned so much after this. I understood more about the culture, about I was diving into his mind and getting to know this kind of different person, different culture, different universe from the artist perspective. And this was, I can't even really describe it. Was amazing.
And in a way, would you say that it also helped you from that moment on, kind of, how to say, living in that very same country, because it was harder before, and that
Yes.
in a way also helped the overall experience.
Absolutely. I got very much in peace with myself in this country. Yeah.
Okay. I still wait in case any of you wants to make some comment. You mentioned just regarding the time frame that starting from September, it will be possible to, you will have the studio, let's say, up and running, right?
Yeah, because I will move the studio in the same house now. I'm in my roof studio, and I will move it all down next to the apartment, so it's very easy to also use the garden for working, because also outside working is possible.
And now I'm asking you a little gift for us all. Sorry, I didn't tell you in advance, but it came to my mind now. And I think that if you can give us a tiny, tiny gift, which is, can you give us an idea, just one, a tiny exercise for each of one to do in the next days? Or you mentioned, of course, the diary, the journal, sorry. Or if you could pick one that we can do by ourselves. I know it's not the same, but that would be, I think that would be a great gift for us all.
A tiny exercise, like
yes, a tiny exercise.
Easy thing to do. You can try to arrange your bookshelf by color, like to focus on, just to figure out which kind of color of books do you have most in your household. It was very interesting to me. I didn't expect it at all.
Which one was yours?
It was white. It was black and white, actually. And then a lot of yellow books. And then you will figure out that yellow books are mostly cooking books. And then all the nature books have a green back. And it was for me so interesting to see a color combination with book topics. And this is how to, yeah, I know it takes also time, but it's such a nice thing to look at daily things different. And the most easy thing I can recommend is go on a photo safari in your very own neighborhood, just like 100 meters around your house, and take your mobile phone or your camera and try to discover 10 things which you didn't realize before and give them a title. Or write a short story, just a few lines, like a fictive story about what this flower experienced in the flower's life, for example.
So this is what I mean. I asked you one exercise, and I think you gave us 3, 4, 5.
Sorry for this.
No, that's great. That's exactly what I meant when I was talking about creativity. So, okay, thank you very much. And just one more from me. I used to ask for 3 books I used to ask the artists to recommend 3 books. One from you, one book that you think we absolutely should read now at the moment.
Like my own books? Or
no. Okay, you can recommend your books,
book?
But any kind of book that you think can be a switch or can be very important, something not to be missed.
In English, of course, right? I have a German book which I would absolutely recommend. I have a favorite author. His name is Lars Ament. I can write it in the chat to everybody. And he does. He did a book. It's called Why Not, and it's a book about why, or the stops you put by yourself into your life. Why not is the title. Like, why should I do this? But why not? To everyone. And also a book I recommended already to you, Rafaela, is I forgot the surname. Edith Eger.
Yeah.
Okay, it's her name, and the book is The Secret. Is it The Secret? The Gift. The Gift.
The Gift.
The Gift. And she's a psychologist in California. You can find her books in English, of course. And she's a Holocaust survivor. Maybe you have heard of her already. And she says that we put ourselves in prisons by ourselves. And we have the key in the pocket, but we don't open the prison sometimes. And to read this book, this was also like a magic thing to me. It opened my eyes very much in what cages I put myself from time to time, and how easy it would be to just go outside. Yeah.
Thank you. And then I will really stop. One tiny exercise for me that I'm in this very new environment.
What do you mean?
If you can recommend also me one more exercise to do when you have to deal with a new environment. Because you know why I'm asking you this, because I think now we are in such an incredible and peculiar moment, at least many of us who are tonight here in this virtual living room in Zoom. This was such an incredible moment. The last month have been unbelievable. For many of us, the life literally went upside down. We were not really, I mean, we kind of saw it coming, but at least in my case, I saw it coming, of course. But when such things happen, I don't know, you are locked for months in a place, or anyway, you are forced to move and to go somewhere else. It's always disrupting, of course. And many of those who are, I can see here in this very same in this very list, are they either experience that or are experiencing this kind of situation. The very last trick, or
thing for you to do now.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would decide if it's to cope with frustration in a new environment, or with funny things you see every day, or with whatever. So what I did once was a little super tiny, it was just like an empty book, and I wrote down my insight of the day every day. And it could be something I learned newly, or I learned about myself, or I don't know, like the enlightenment of the day or insight of the day, how to say in English. And it can also be a picture of the day, like it's all new around you now. You experience, you meet new people, you have a new environment. Also a photo of the day. You know, I did it in China 5 years. And now I have a diary of 365 days every year. And I know exactly what happened on this very day when I look back to those photos. And sometimes I wrote quotes of people I met on it. So collecting your new experiences, I would recommend, because it's so precious, the first beginning.
Thank you. One more thing from Tanat. I call in Tanat again.
Yes.
Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, actually, I was just inspired hearing this conversation about different kind of, activities or tips, things we can do. And also just thinking about the healing power of art. And I wanted to share this, something that Christine actually had given as a gift to me. Let me turn off the blur my background. Hang on a second. Okay, here we go. So this actually, you probably hopefully can recognize without the glare. I don't know, the glare is not so good. Yeah, it's me without glasses. But this is a collage that Christine had done and was part of her book, which she didn't say the name of, but it's the book is Vintage Charm. So I'm just going to plug her book because she didn't. But I think so. It says for Tanaz, Dankeschön, portrait from the book Vintage Charm by Christine Hohenstein. So the thing that is actually powerful about this is that when Christine gave it to me, I'm not an artist, though I think deep down I probably am, but I never really got to explore it. But I had never had someone give anything like this to me. And so when Christine gave it to me, I broke down in tears. I was so moved by emotion that someone would take the time to do something like this. And an artwork, and even it was a thank you, but it was so much more than that to me. And I just feel like, another activity could be just, these different like art that we might be inspired to create, whether it's taking a photo or doing something. I was very inspired by I cannot say the name, the Japanese. I just want to rip a piece of paper and start and label each one of the tears, which thing that happened to me, and just do that. I can't wait to do that. But I just feel, also this act of giving this gift of one's own art to someone else can be so powerful. And for me, it really made me realize at that time that I was giving so much of myself, but I wasn't opening myself to receiving anything because I had 3 little children and many things going on. And Christine actually just giving me this, I don't think she realized what a huge impact it had on me at the time and now, because it just made me realize wow, I just need to be more open to other people's kindness instead of focusing all the time on working, basically, like feeding the kids and doing this and doing that. So I feel like also that as people who are artists or not officially artists, just creating a piece of work, however simple it might be, can be so powerful also for the receiver. So I just was inspired to share that. And this actually is in my bedroom, so I can see it every morning and every evening. So that's how important it is to me. So thank you, Christine, again. I don't know how many years ago it was, 6, 7 years ago. So thank you again, all these years later.
You're welcome. I didn't even, now I of course remember it also the scene when I gave it to you, but I didn't think of it anymore.
Yeah,
so
it was so
happy
powerful.
to-
I couldn't even say, you know, because I was too busy crying and trying to figure out what was going on.
I'm so happy for this. Thank you for sharing.
Yeah. So I
Thank you.
think there's so many impact that, you know, artists have with their work, even unintended and unrealized.
Mhm.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now that's really it. Thanks a lot to everyone for being with us tonight. Thank you so much, Christina. It was great. And I would say good morning to the early birds. Elodie is among them, who woke up so early this morning because we have people connecting. Thank you. We have people connecting from United States. And Christina, have a great afternoon to you and to those of you who are connecting from Europe, and that's time zone. And for us, good night. Good night. I would say good night, Shanghai. See, good night, Seoul, because I'm in Seoul. Here it's 10:15 in the night. So thank you very much, everyone, and see you next month.